Hi everyone! In the next few minutes, please allow me to talk about perfecting your pitch. This should take me a few minutes and I will try my best to keep it interesting and insightful. First and foremost, let me introduce myself. My name is Natasha, or Tasha for short, and I am the head of Marketing Communications and Program Management at 917 Ventures. I used to head the operations for Cuba Innovation Hub, the country's public-private nonprofit for startups, for 4 years. And previous to that, was the head of Grab Philippines and was with them for its first 3 years. I would say that I've seen hundreds of pitches by now. And I understand that not a lot of you have experience in pitching, so we are going back to basics. And I hope to give you a good backbone for the next time you do pitch. Hopefully, it's for the idea pitch competition. This is assuming you get in the top 30, of course. So just to set expectations, I will be discussing first what we do at 917 Ventures. Then I will be introducing you to pitching. Then we will discuss the contents of a pitch deck. Then I will give you some important tips to guide you when you pitch. So without further ado, let's start. First and foremost, I do want to discuss about what is 917. So I want to provide a bit of context first as to why we do what we do. And it is known that in the Philippines, it is known that Philippines is the next big thing. Our startup ecosystem is growing. We have really good numbers, really big population, young median age. 9.8% of our GDP comes from digital payments. And as you can see here on the right, we have really good numbers when it comes to social media and daily time spent on the internet. But it's still quite difficult to be a startup founder, especially during these times, the pandemic. And according to a study by We Are Nova, these are the top 5 reasons why startups fail. The first one is building something nobody wants. Second is hiring poorly. Third is failing to execute sales and marketing. Fourth is not having the right co-founders and chasing investors and not. Now let me introduce you a new term called venture builder. Venture builders, they say, can dramatically increase the survival rate of their venture portfolios by applying a methodology that addresses each one of these failure points. And I believe in that too. How? Let me discuss that in more detail in the presentation. You see, a typical startup founder spends most of his time doing admin work, so finding office space, registering his or her business, doing payroll, doing payments, finding co-founders, firing them if he or she has to, doing team building, hiring, onboarding, training, retaining, doing it all over again, fundraising, and last but not the least, with the little amount of time that he or she has, is actually building the startup. But the 917 venture builder model, this is what we do. We really minimize admin work and building your team and fundraising, and we really just allow our venture builders to focus on just building. So this is the model. This is where 917 Ventures comes in. First and foremost, we are a subsidiary of Globe. We are a separate entity, but still very much part of the Globe ecosystem, with 80 million customer base, 58% market share, 5.8 billion market cap, and 1 million physical distribution. And in fact, we're part of an even larger ecosystem with Singtel and Ayala. And you see, Globe is much more than a telco now as compared to how it was years ago. We even have G Movies, Globe Entertainment, 0917, which is in lifestyle and retail, Yondu, EasyPay, Asicom, and Globe Lab. We even have Kickstart. So for those of you who are a bit confused as to what the difference is between Kickstart and 917 Ventures, Kickstart is venture capital. So they invest capital in promising startups, in existing ventures, whereas in 917 Ventures, we build ventures. We build from the ground up, from idea stage. So from 0 to 1, 1 to 100. And so in a nutshell, 917 Ventures, we are Globe's corporate venture builder that ideates, launches, and accelerates new businesses that have the potential to grow and scale fast. We act like a startup factory. In layman's term, we're a startup factory, and we have existing teams, frameworks, infrastructures, and strategies that are already in place, proven, tested, and backed by Globe, Ayala, and partner networks to accelerate the growth of the venture. The unique thing about us and what makes us very special is, unlike any other incubator, accelerator, or venture builder out there, we are able to unlock the Globe's unfair advantage to our ventures. So take note of this slide because we will actually discuss this later on in more detail. But the Globe's unfair advantage is basically that our ventures, they are able to tap data and customer base of 80 million people, 1 million nationwide distribution points, 150,000 enterprise partners and affiliates, and of course capital. We provide capital of up to 2.5 million pesos in angel investment and up to another additional 100 million pesos seed investment for those who move along from angel to seed. And we currently have 6 portfolio companies under our wing in different verticals. In fintech, we have, of course, GCash. We all know what GCash is. And in health tech, we also have Consulta MD and Health. We also have in loyalty and ad tech, so we have Rush as a loyalty platform and AdSpark as an end-to-end digital advertising agency, and our babiest of them all so far is PureGo, which is our e-commerce or online grocery shopping. Now, typically, venture builders ideate internally. But late last year, we decided to open up and bring external talent and ideas into the 917 Ventures family through Velocity. Velocity is our program in the hopes of replicating the same successes of the 6 companies I just mentioned. So it's our 3-month bootcamp wherein our venture builders will be able to do all of these things, refine business idea, receive money, build their prototype, plan, go to market, test for MVP readiness, validate market. And at the end of the 3-month bootcamp, they're able to pitch to our investment committee for an additional seed funding of up to 100 million pesos. Now, we're already on our 2nd batch, actually. And this is the timeline for a 3rd batch. And if you notice, this isn't until October. But as you must already know, we are opening our doors to the 5G Hackathon winners, and you may just have the chance to get into Velocity. Looking for. There are 2 main things that we look for, which is pretty much split into 2, which is our 50%, which is talent and the idea. So for the talent, we are always looking for someone who already has a great startup idea. You should already have strong analytical skills, have the ability to cooperate, lead, and drive initiatives from start to finish. it would be best if the talent also has domain expertise, technical abilities, and a catalyst mindset. And if you get into Velocity program, we actually require our venture builders to be full-time for the 3-month bootcamp because it's going to be intense. And for the idea, we're looking for ideas that are in these industries, so fintech, adtech, health tech, and e-commerce. But of course, we're also open to other verticals. Still in the ideating or concepting phase and has potential for growth, original and creative, and of course, aims to provide a solution to everyday Filipino problems. Our venture builders, if they get in the program, will get a few things. Of course, I've been mentioning the funding already, so I won't mention that anymore, although that is important. And we also have product and tech, so full and dedicated tech team to build and test the product. So even if you don't have a tech co-founder, or even if you don't know how to code, or if you don't know how to create an app or a website, that's fine because we have teams already in place that can help our venture builders build their product. And of course, we also have operational support, so strategic advisory, legal, finance, HR, marketing, data, and analytics. All of that is available also in 917 Ventures. And of course, unlocking the Globe's unfair advantage, which I've already mentioned. Besides benefits, you will also get to work with the 917. And we are composed of a group of diverse, skilled, and experienced individuals coming from different backgrounds. We have Vince Yamat, Mikey Garovilio, Glenn Australia, Griffin Colamco, Reyes Eustaquio, and of course yours truly. And you can see how diverse we are and the amount of experience and expertise that we have. And venture builders will be working directly with entrepreneurs and residents that will really help them in building the ventures. So I've already mentioned Glenn and Griffin, and of course we also have Francis and Nisem as our 3 entrepreneurs and residents. More support is also available as we have COEs, or Centers of Excellence, in market research and intelligence, marketing and growth, legal, finance, people, and of course support from the portfolio company. So ultimately, 917 Ventures aims to create solutions that can deliver indelible value to the Philippines and the APAC region. All right, so I've been talking for a few minutes, around 10 minutes already, so enough about us. Now let's move on to discussing the main topic on pitching. So why pitch? I hope that you have an idea already of what you're going to submit for the 5G Hackathon, and I know that the application submission is just a paper submission, but you will learn important things today that could help you get to the next round. And even if you don't get to the next round, the art and science of pitching is important, not just for the 5G Hackathon competition, not just for your current or future jobs, but it is actually also important in your everyday lives. The most obvious reasons why it is important to be good at pitching is to win hackathons and pitching competitions, to sell a product or service, to propose projects or campaigns or to propose projects, campaigns, and activities, especially when you're already working. If you're not yet working, and for those of you who are already working, you're probably used to pitching already, hopefully, to secure partnerships. Even at ace an interview, you are pitching yourself, raise funds or get investments. Like I said earlier, it's also important for your everyday lives because you need to learn also how to pitch in when you court your future boyfriend or girlfriend, or when you haggle with your parents for extra allowance, for example. So pitching is an essential skill. We use it every single day. And before we proceed, I would like for you to watch 2 examples of pitches I personally love, and then later on we will dissect it and analyze what makes for a great pitch. First, this is Willie Green from Party on Demand back in 2017 for Startup Fest in Canada.
I'm so stressed out trying to plan all of life's celebrations. I got little Susie's graduation. I got Ted's birthday party. And of course, football season is coming back. I want to plan a tailgating party for that. I wish there was one easy solution for me to order all my party supplies, just as easy as booking an Airbnb. Wait, there is. Party on Demand is your one-stop mobile party supply shop, delivering the party to you in 1 hour or less. We deliver the 3 essential ingredients you need to wow your guests and have an incredible, memorable party. We deliver food, talent, and decorations right to your door. Bam! We make it happen easily with our partnerships from Uber Eats, Grubhub, and Postmates, delivering that tantalizing food that's yummy, yummy in your tummy. In addition to that, our friends over at Amazon Prime are hooking it up with our crazy curated party box that's delivered to your door. Plus, we have hooked up over 1,500 incredible talents of dancers, acrobatics, and even your own personal chef from Benihana, Katachi. It all starts with the box. Party on Demand has already partnered with over 35 of the world's largest companies and brands that's going to give you the cool thing. Think of Pinterest meets Etsy, delivered in your box and all exclusive right to your door. Oh man, it's going down. Our app is simple and easy to use. And with less than 5 clicks from your phone, your party is on. With over $251 billion in this licensing and rental industry, we know we're going to disrupt this marketplace because over 800,000 people celebrate their birthday in the U.S. alone every single day, not including over 500,000 people that just have a great social and celebration as well. With that, Party on Demand situates ourselves between the sweet spot of affordability and convenience. Now, our revenue model was simple. Nowhere, and I mean nowhere, can you find food, talent, and decor delivered to your door same day for the incredible price, wait for it, $299. Ow! Make it want to shake something. We're asking for $1.5 million in exchange for 15% equity. This will give us a 15-month runway and yield profitably about $7.5 million. Party on Demand was inspired by my father, who passed away from cancer. But before he did, he said, son, celebrate life more often. Whether that's your job promotion or getting an A on a test or even crossing the street, celebrate life every single day. Now you don't have to stress no more or wonder how to put on a really cool party and impress your friends. We can do it for you. I'm Big Willie G, the CEO of Party on Demand, and we're helping you, and your best friend sitting next to you to party on. So call us, and I'll see you at the party. Woo, woo, woo.
As you would have guessed, he was the winner of the Startup Fest 2017 as the best pitch competition. So second, I want to show you one of the most famous pitch decks out there, the Airbnb pitch deck. I won't be pitching to you today because I probably won't give it justice. But we will go through each slide and study it in more detail later on. So first, they go straight to tackling the problem that exists, which is price is an important concern for a customer booking travel online. Hotels leave you disconnected. No easy way exists to book a room with a local or become a host. So imagine this was way before there was an Airbnb. And then they pitched the solution, which solves the problem, the 3 things that they identified. And the solution is for a web platform where users can rent out their space to host travelers to save money, make money, and share culture. Then they talk about market validation. They included here the indirect competitors that they have, which is basically a manual web listing of available rooms in Craigslist or couchsurfing.com. Then they also show the market size, which shows the potential of the market. So 2 billion trips worldwide, 560 million budget and online serviceable available market, 84 million trips with Airbnb, and that's around 15% of the available market that they're estimating. And then they discuss the product and its features in more detail. That it's as easy as searching it by city, reviewing the listing, and simply booking it. This slide then talks about the business model. So if you don't know what this means, the guy that was pitching earlier also mentioned this term. But if you don't know what this means, please do look it up. But it's how you would earn. Do you take commission, subscription fee, revenue share? What's your price per product? So here they even detail out the revenue that they plan to get by 2011, which is $200 million. But yeah, they do detail out the number of trips that they'll be getting and the average fee per night or per room. Then they also discuss market adoption. This can also be called the GTM slide or the go-to-market slide or the market strategy slide. So they discuss events, partnerships, and going back to Craigslist by posting it manually also to, I would like to think to migrate those in Craigslist to Airbnb. Then they thoroughly discuss competition. First, they show a competitive positioning map, and they show that Airbnb is on the upper right quadrant, so doing online transactions and are affordable as compared to other competitors. And then second is their competitive advantages as compared to their competitors. So first to market, they list wants, ease of use, profiles, design and brand, host incentive. And then, of course, try not to leave this out when you're working on your pitches because this is actually very, very important. In fact, most of the competitions I've judged in, a huge percentage of the criteria is focused on the team because this shows your ability to execute. So put your faces up there, your names up there, and what you do, and also your background and experience, relevant background and experience. Then they also include some vanity slides on what the press is saying, and they also even include user testimonials. And last but not least, they end it with their ask. And what they're asking for is $500,000 in an angel round, and that they're expecting 80,000 trips with an average $25 fee. And $2 million in revenue over 12 months. That's it. So now time to break it down. So let's now dissect the two pitches I showed you. Both pitches are quite similar. The other one is obviously more that we didn't see the presentation, and then for Airbnb we actually saw the slides, and now we're gonna dissect it. So since you will be pitching to 917 Ventures also in the hopes of taking your idea to the next level even after hopefully winning the 5G Hackathon, here's the typical contents of a pitch that we at 917 Ventures look for. So these are the top slides. So first is problem, second is solution, product, market, business model, competition, traction and validation, market strategy, unfair advantage, and the ask. So first, let's talk about the problem. It is always important to start with a problem and not start with an idea. I've seen many founders make the mistake of falling in love with their idea, but not really understanding if there's a problem in the first place. And that's a big no-no. One tip to understand the problem is to ask why multiple times until you've exhausted your answer to the whys. For example, in the case of Grab, the first why is, why does it take 2 hours to go home? So again, imagine back in 2011, 2010, when we had no Grab. Why does it take 2 hours to go home? So then my answer would be, because it's so hard to find transportation. I actually spend an hour of my time lining up in taxis or jeeps or MRT. So, okay, but why does it take 1 hour to find transportation? Because, it's so inefficient. Our public transportation is just so inefficient. Maybe it's because of the supply and demand. There are certain times that there's just so much taxis out there, but then there are certain times that there are none. So you keep asking that until you exhaust all your options, until you exhaust all your whys, and then you just might find your answer, which then leads to your solution. Is there a problem solution fit? Does it solve all the problems you detailed? Typically, if you have three problems like in the Airbnb pitch, you also have three solutions, which you will have to explain in the next part, which is the exciting part, the product. In this part, you answer the question, how does your product solve the problems? It's always best to be visual at this point. So show screenshots. You can even do a product demo. I've even seen founders show their actual product or MVP or their minimum viable product during a pitch. You can even use GIFs. So if you notice, this one is moving. To make it fun and interesting and eye-catching, but also try not to have too many moving parts because it just might be too distracting. So if you noticed, they're very minimal movement here, but if you just take a step back and look at the slides, it looks nice. It looks clean and interesting. And at this point, you should be able to define who the product is for and answer the question, who is your target market? I would even suggest that you profile your customers and even describe their story. I've heard this a couple of times from founders where they say, oh, this is Aling Puring. She earns this amount per month from her small sari-sari store in Cavite and she wants to grow her small business. And this is also Dave. He is a fresh grad who wants to start investing early on. And this is Mama Remy. She is a housewife and a mother of three. So it's quite fun hearing these profiles because it gives you, your audience or judges or investors and whatnot, a better idea of who you're selling this to. And if you remember from the video earlier, the picture was really connecting to the audience. So that's also something that you might want to look into. A lot of times, especially if it's an early stage venture or startup that is being pitched, a longer time is spent here in this particular slide on the market because it answers the question, how big is the market? Which is always, which would be a build up to your next slide on making money, which is what investors typically love hearing, of course. And one of the most common ways of showing the market opportunity is through TAM, SAM, SOM. So TAM, SAM, SOM. This is the TAM, SAM, SOM. TAM is your total addressable market. This is the total market of your product. So for Grab, for example, this would be everyone who commutes for the demand side or the passenger side. And for the supply side or the driver side, everyone who has a car. Then SOM is your serviceable, available or addressable market, which is a portion of the TAM that you can service based on the limitations of your product or your business model. So using the same Grab example, your SOM would be for both the demand and supply side, just a percentage of that SOM that can afford and have smartphones and data, because obviously Grab can't service those who don't have smartphone and data, right? Then SOM is your serviceable obtainable market, which is a percentage again of your SAM that you can realistically capture. So if you remember Airbnb, they took 15%. So again, using the same Grab example, you can take a percentage of what you want to capture for your first 5 years. And remember to consider a few factors like competition, cities or countries of operation, forecast, and even other market influences. Now, the exciting part. So how you're going to make money. I've mentioned this already earlier, but the usual revenue streams would be commissions, subscriptions, revenue share, and of course, show one of the things that a lot of founders forget is to actually show the price of their product. So please show your pricing strategy. I also found that more often than not, it's better to show multiple revenue streams. So, for example, you can say that, oh, you will make money by taking a percentage from this, and you can also make money by selling ads or placement, and you can also charge a flat fee. Try not to overdo this, of course, but it's always good to show that you've thought about this properly. All right, so for the competition, the questions you should be answering are, who are your competitors and what are your advantages? And there are a few ways of showing this, but I would suggest using these two examples, and you've kind of seen this already earlier. First is the competitive positioning map. If you remember, Airbnb used this earlier, but it basically is a map of where you are as compared to your competitors. So you could maybe be the cheapest and easiest to use. And then second is you can also do a competitive landscape, which is simply using a table to show your advantages as compared to others. So for example, this is you in the orange, and then if you compare it to competitor A and B, everything is check, or everything is you're better at everything, for example. Make sure you do your research here, because remember that most likely the person you're pitching to have seen quite a lot of pitches. So best to make sure that you research about existing competitors locally and internationally. It's always very disappointing when we ask questions about an existing competitor and the person pitching has no idea who their competitors are. It just shows that you haven't done your research. And of course, it's good to show that you've done a bit of work already to validate your solution. But this will highly depend on the maturity of your startup. Obviously, if you're just an idea, you won't be able to show that much traction because you haven't launched yet. But there are ways to show validation even at this stage. Of course, when your startup is more than just an idea, it's best to show good numbers. So some ways of showing traction and validation would be testimonials. Again, if you remember in Airbnb, they did show some testimonials and even news clippings, or you can include media, blog, articles. You can even do survey results. Try to get a good and diverse sample size and not just two or three people or just your friends and family. And maybe some numbers also from existing competitors, like what Airbnb did when they cited Craigslist and Couchsurfing, because that means that, oh, there is a market already out there, right? And of course, if you can, it's always best to show that you have paying customers. That is the best validation, is if people are actually willing to pay for your product or service. And again, not just your family and friends. And then for market strategy, you need to show how you will get customers. Please do remember to have different strategies for different customer types. So if you remember, we talked about your target market and the different personas, right? So remember to have a different strategy for them. So now, how will you attract them to buy your product? So think about the customer funnel. So this is a customer funnel. Think about how you can make your customers from the top aware of your product first, all the way to engaged, so they're interested, to consider, so they're considering purchasing. Maybe they added it to cart already, and purchase is to actually pay for it. And then, of course, the very bottom of the funnel is to retain and keep them in the platform. Think about the different objectives, channels, and metrics per stage. These are just some examples of marketing activities that you can think about and include in your deck. So traditional marketing, digital marketing, PR, referrals, influencers. So I've probably heard this question also 100 of times. What makes you so special, or why you? If competitor X decides to do a similar thing, then what? What will make this work? So you've actually already kind of discussed a bit about this if you had that competitive landscape or competitive positioning from the earlier slides. But here are additional factors that you can include. You can include the team, and the skills, background, and expertise that you have. and even the network that you have. Both of these show your ability to execute. Then, of course, technology and how maybe advanced or different it is, your strategy or approach, and you can even talk about timing. Again, if you remember Airbnb, there was a first mover's advantage there. You can also include that. And remember, if you remember earlier, we talked about the globe's unfair advantage, this particular slide. Now again, let me remind you that 5G hackathon winners may get a chance to even further their ideas even after the hackathon and have a chance to actually build it with the best of the best 917 ventures. So if this is something that interests you, then listen closely. If you make it to the top 30 and you get to pitch, please make sure to include a slide on the globe's unfair advantage. Detail out both how you will make use of existing assets of Globe, which is data, customer base, distribution network, affiliates, and capital. So how will you take advantage of what we can provide you? But also, like in a relationship, it should go both ways. How will your solution benefit the Globe ecosystem? So examples would be, would you be able to tap the unbanked and onboard them as Gcash users, for example? Would you be able to provide businesses with loans or insurance or whatnot? So please remember this exact slide when you get to the top 30. Okay, last but not the least, the ask. So for this last slide, this is where you hopefully have attracted your audience and you now are in a good position to present your ask. And your ask, usually you present a few things. First is what you're asking for. So is it X million pesos? Then what you can give in return. So in exchange of X million pesos, I will give you X percentage equity of the company. And in the middle, sorry, I forgot to mention, you also should detail where it will go or what they can expect. So let's say you're asking for 10 million pesos. Where will the 10 million pesos go? Will it go to marketing, to hiring, to building the product, all of it? So make sure that you detail it out so that your audience or maybe your investors would also understand where their money will go. Now, this is the last bit, but make sure you have backup slides also to show the breakdown of your ask. So if they ask you, if you're asking again for 10 million pesos, how long will that last? Will that last for 6 months, 9 months, 18 months? It's always good to have those backup slides. And as in the Airbnb example, you can even also show how much revenues you expect or some key results that will make your investors happy. Now we are down to our last slide. I hope you are still with me. But this is a very important slide because these are just some of the tips and tricks that I hope you keep in mind for when you're pitching. So a quick rundown of some tips to help you. Number 1, make use of existing tools. I love Canva, and it's free to use unless you need the premium photos or features. They even have ready-made templates you can use that have the contents of the pitch deck that we just discussed today. So if you go to Canva, you can go to presentations, you can go to pitch templates, and they already have like 10 slides that detailed out everything that I discussed just now. So make use of existing tools. Second, and this is probably my biggest pet peeve, is when founders don't do their research. Remember that typically pitches also have Q&A after, so make sure to cover all bases. Research about existing products out there, research about the market, talk to your customers, everything that I just discussed and more. Number 3, on that note also, please do not try to BS your way if you don't know the answer. This won't happen if you did number 2. But if in any case you really don't know the answer, then just be honest and say that you'll get back to them at a later time. Number 4, remember to kiss. So keep it super simple. Try not to overcrowd your deck with too much information. Try not to say too much also when you're answering, because especially if it's just a yes or no answer, because then you're just making yourself even more prone to mistakes. But be straightforward with your pitch. And number 5, as I mentioned, have backup slides. Yes, keep it simple, and that's why you need to have backup slides. Hide the messy details and have them ready in case you need to answer some questions. And this is particularly important when you're explaining the market. Again, I mentioned of the bullet points or of all the slides there, market is probably the most amount of time that you will spend your time on. Discussing the market and discussing the potential of what it could be. You should also have backup slides for your business model, or even when you need to explain your ask or the breakdown. Then number 6, similar to number 2, research not just on what you're presenting, but who you're presenting it to. Then customize the content based on the audience. And lastly, my favorite, practice, practice, practice. Our existing venture builders would pitch sometimes even like 2 to 3 times a week for 3 months. And by the time they pitch to our investment committee for another round of funding, they've already memorized their pitch by heart, which then makes them more confident in their delivery. So that's it. I hope you learned a lot today, and I hope to see 30 of the best of you pitching, and good luck. And please do reach out if you have any questions. Our email is here in the presentation. Thank you and have a great day. Bye.
We're speeding into the fast lane with Globe's 5G technology. It's fast, it's fun, it's wonderful. It's Kim Son-ho approved. With Globe 5G technology, the possibilities are endless. It's about time we inspire the youth to create something meaningful, spark reinventions, and improve the framework of the future. That's what the 5G Hackathon is about. Students, professionals, and startups are welcome to join the event by registering using this link. Once accepted, you may enjoy access to the Globe 5G Hackathon HQ, where the enablement workshops will happen. That's 2 weeks worth of fun workshops and mentorship by industry experts from our tech partners. All these to get you to the top. That doesn't end there. Apply what you've learned from the workshops and pitch your idea on how you can use 5G to improve the way we live. The panel will pick the top 30 semi-finalists to join the pitch competition and enjoy exclusive workshops and consultations with mentors. But if you're truly, madly, deeply at the top of your game, you can be chosen as part of the top 10 finalists who will proceed to the Hackathon Finals. 3 of the best pitches will be hailed as winners. What's in it for you? Well, over 500,000 pesos worth of prizes will be given away, plus a chance to be part of the Venture Builders program of 917's Venture Velocity and work directly with Globe 5G Acceleration Lab. This is powered by Globe and Animal Labs by DLSU. Thanks to 5G, we're about to achieve great heights. Click the link and show us what you've got. Get ready to reinvent your power to create change. Register now.
Do you wanna make a difference and reinvent your world? 네, 안녕하세요. 여러분, 김선호입니다. 샌드박스 같은 곳에서 경쟁하는 기분을 느껴보고 싶으신가요? 그렇다면 글로브 5G 해카톤에서 진행하는 워크샵과 멘토십을 통해 5G 활용 방법을 만들어보고 여러분의 친구, 동료들과 팀을 만들어서 디지털 시대 속 필리핀의 새롭고 흥미로운 가능성을 열어보세요. Follow your dream. Register now.
Why don't you watch me do my thing? Reinvent and show the world, yeah. Choose to be more, choose to be better, choose to evolve, choose to evolve, choose to be more, choose to be better, choose to evolve, choose to evolve. Every time the world spins round, reinvent 360. We can use on this a good thing, yeah. Show the whole world, reinvent. Nobody to know something is strong. You watch me do my thing.
Take it to the next level with Globe's fiber, LTE advanced, and 5G mobile connection. Now you have the power to reinvent your world. Globe.
The new mind-blowing Surfer 99?
9 gig? All sites?
For all devices?
Shareable with up to 4 people?
Like my fam? Anywhere they are?
The new mind-blowing Surfer All 99.
Dear Mother, Light of the Home.
Dad?
Hey, baby!
Greetings, Professor Rodolfo.
May I be absolved from
Math Club tomorrow.
May Globe Virtual Hangouts kasi.
Go and hang out from wherever you are. Just open the Globe One app, choose an event, and click join.
Watch concerts online!
Dance together!
We can do quiz nights.
Yo, let's go! If you allow me,
I promise.
To make it up to you.
And repay your kindness tenfold. Truly, your favorite child.
I love you, Dad.
Mimi.
please, babe.
Thank you, sir.
Enjoy your fave events with Globe Prepaid Virtual Hangouts. All together now.
Yes!
Get it.